In a world covered by endless night, in a place where fear and despair thrive, in a time when all hope seems lost, two individuals arise to stand firm, resist the darkness, and light the beacons of hope to humanity. To the free people of the future, the courage of these two will mark them as heroes. To everyone else, they will simply be known as Nobodies.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining in on Nobodies. Two guys talking about nothing. I'm Dave, this is Brian.
Hello everyone.
And topic today is the Religious Freedom Restoration Act? I think that's what it was called? Indiana!
Yeah, Indiana.
And Arkansas, I think. Yeah, Arkansas.
Arkansas's doing that too.
Yeah.
I was not aware of
Religious Freedom Restoration Act. RFRA. Yeah.
that. Okay.
Got it. You want to give them the rundown?
So, for those of you who aren't aware of this, Indiana's trying to pass a law to protect religious people from, behaving in ways that would be that would conflict with their religious beliefs. I guess a classic example of what's being brought up now is if a gay couple wants to get married, so they go to a baker and say, hey, can you bake us a cake? And they say no because it's against our beliefs. The law was designed to protect those people to say, no, we're not going to bake that cake, instead of, having a lawsuit happen and then they get punished for that. And of course, big uproar over that because of gay rights and everything, and my opinion of this, I think, is different in the fact that I never heard anyone else make this argument before, but for me, it's not a matter of religious freedom, it's a matter of property rights. Because hypothetically speaking, just assume for a minute that, yes, people who have religious objections should be able to do this. Just accept that for a minute whether or not you agree with it. What about atheists? Take for an example, hypothetically speaking, there's an atheist out there who also disagrees with homosexuality. Because he doesn't have a religion to, build a foundation on that, does also mean he can't make that choice. Mm-hmm. You see, for me, I think it's more of a property issue. If you own a business, and that's your business, that's your property, you should be able to run it however you see fit, as long as you don't use it to harm anyone else. And denying someone service isn't necessarily harming somebody. I mean, they could go somewhere else, or other avenues they could take. And really, if you think about it, even the business owner isn't really getting a benefit out of denying service because they're not making a profit off of anything. So why not just let them act according to how they want to run their business? I mean, it's their property after all.
The argument that I've heard against that, or the least angry and vile, hatred-filled one, was obviously segregation. That seems to be the main one that I've heard, is just the whole idea of separate but equal. And the thing that I like to tell people is, you gotta remember, segregation, Jim Crow, all that stuff, that was law.
Yeah.
That was a law. That was a government thing. That wasn't private businesses. I mean, private businesses obviously did it, but it was because there was a law that gave them permission to do that. Like you said, I think it all boils down to property rights. And actually, on that note, a lot of people that I've heard, they attach a negative stigma to it. Let's just say on the religious side, they say, well, we wouldn't serve anybody that has relations with animals or polygamists or any of that, and that connotates something negative, and homosexuals are saying, well, that's negative, that's not bad, or that is bad, that's not what we're about. But I think discrimination can also apply to stuff that's not negative. So, and just bear with me here, this is in my head. What about college scholarships? Okay, hang on.
Okay.
You have money, right? This money is your property rights. I want to give it to disadvantaged, I don't know, Italian Americans.
Mm-hmm.
That's my money. I can do whatever I want with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wrong that I'm excluding people? Can I do that? I mean, is that wrong? I mean, there are scholarships specifically for African American children, Asian children, Italians, white people, whatever. I mean, there's a scholarship for everything. But by doing that, they have to exclude other people. Is that wrong? Can we not do that?
I see what you're saying, but even, let me play devil's advocate for a second, because I don't know how I feel about that, because still, that's one thing if you're doing a donation, I guess, or something along those lines, but it's another thing that if you have a business and you're deliberately excluding others from being able to participate in that business, I really think that's an apples and oranges type of deal.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe it is, but in my brain, just how I see it, you have a business, it's my business, I run it the way I want. versus it's my money. Let's just say hypothetically, I have a pile of money and I'm going to give it to students. It's mine. I earned it. I worked for it. I own it. I really don't see the difference.
Because in the case you're saying, that's giving money towards something rather than you're having a business where people are coming towards you.
Yeah, it is different. So the money's going in the opposite direction, basically.
Yes. So that would be the difference that I'm saying.
Okay. That's a good point, but nobody has a right to receive money, and I don't think you have a right to buy anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's why things about property rights, if you own a business, you should be able to run it how you see fit. And going back to the segregation thing, you're absolutely right. It was a legal system that was in place, and this is completely different. Especially nowadays, there are so many other ways you can get around this thing. If you disagree with how a business is being run, write a Yelp review. Go boycott it. With this day and age where we're so connected, you can make an uproar over saying, I don't like how this business practice is being done, and get it out there.
Or start your own.
Yeah. And there's other avenues you can do other than just straight up suing somebody over that business practice. I don't really think you need to get courts involved in trying to ruin somebody's business by, just because you disagree with how it is being run. I think that's sort of wrong. As far as the Indiana thing goes, even that was touched upon by some pizzeria or something.
Yeah, the Memories? I think it was Memories.
Yeah, Memories. Yeah, so it was a news reporter or something? Walked up to one of the...
It was like local news.
Yeah, local news. Walked up to him and say, hypothetically speaking, would you cater to a gay wedding? And they said no. And giant uproar over this, and people are getting threats over this, and the business owner's freaking out, doesn't even know if he's going to work anymore.
He had to close down because they got death threats. That's ridiculous. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. That's ridiculous.
Yes. What the heck happens to this civility? Whether or not you agree with it, I think we can say we can draw a line to where we need to start using force to, change people's opinions. Because really, if you're going to threaten people, is that really going to change their mind anyway? Because even if you could get along, okay, so business X, you don't like how it's being practiced. So you start threatening them, and all of a sudden they start going along with it. You haven't really changed their mind, you just change the way they behave. You're not changing opinion here. And if anything, if you take a step back and look at it objectively, this is sort of like, a lynch mob thing. We don't really want this in a first world country. This isn't how things work. I would hope we could get some civility between it.
Basically, you're making yourselves look really bad.
Yes.
Really bad. So, regardless of what you believe, it's absurd. It's outrageous that would have to happen. If they closed their doors because you boycotted them and you held picket signs in the street or whatever, and then they had to close because they couldn't get any business, fine. That's the free market and we just have to accept that. But like you said in your scenario, throwing out the pitchforks, that's outrageous. That's just utterly outrageous. I would never do that. If there was a business that didn't cater to a certain people, I wouldn't go there. But that's it. That's all I have to do. Peace and love, people. What happened?
Yeah, seriously. And again, I just want to stress the fact that, again, the business owners aren't getting any benefit by not, selling a product or delivering a service to a specific demographic. They're just, cutting off a potential profit anyway. So if they're going to take off that loss, why not just leave them alone? You go to a different business that does cater to you, they will make a bigger profit, hypothetically speaking, how the system's supposed to work. And then if that's how you perceive how you want business practice to do, the businesses you prefer will make more money because you are patronizing them.
I got one. So, let's just say there is a store and it is bigoted and it is hated and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go there. But to be honest, I'm glad it's there because I know that's where all the bigots are going to go. And I know to stay away from that. And to be honest, I'd be kind of happy that there's a place where they can go and just be like that and not be around me. If let's just say I'm hanging out in a coffee shop, whatever, and there's people there that are actually racist, not like PC racist. Like real racist. And, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be around that. I want to sip my coffee and just be in peace. So, this may sound silly, but I'm glad there's a place that they can go where they can be whatever. And I don't have
them away from the rest of us.
Exactly. I don't have to be near that. Is that okay? Can I say that? I don't know.
I never thought about that, but that's a very interesting point.
I mean, that's how I look
kind
at
of
it.
agree with it.
I don't want to serve bigots and terrible people. So why don't you go to the other coffee shop that you founded on bigotry and whatever, and hang out there, and that's okay because you're not near me.
Yeah.
Is that? I don't know. Like I said, is that okay? Can I say that?
I don't see anything wrong with that because, again, no matter how much you threaten a bigot, you're not really going to change his opinion by threatening him, even if you change his behavior. So they're going to still be out there.
Yeah, I mean.
So why not just make them, segregate themselves elsewhere?
Right, and it's. I mean, you could flip flop it, and with the Christian community, they don't want to hang around with gay people. So I think it's important that we have gay coffee shops or gay weddings or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then they can go and be gay, and the Christians can hang out in their Christian, and we can all just be ourselves around our community.
Right. Because, I mean, bottom line is, face it, a consequence of freedom is, well, I don't want to say a consequence of freedom itself, but the way our society is structured, you can't be accepted by everybody. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like you. I'm sorry, that's just the way humans work. So as long as we believe in freedom, and we have to accept the fact there's some people who aren't going to like us, and we can just separate ourselves from that. And as long as they're not directly harming us, I don't understand why we have to involve ourselves with them to begin with. Again, unless when force is involved. But in a case like this, force is not involved because no one is forcing you to go to a certain business, and there are other options available for you to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like the Westboro Baptist Church, I don't like those guys. Most people don't like those guys. I would love for them to just shut their doors down, but we live in a free society, and as much as I'd love to see them shut down, I don't believe in sicking the police on them or whoever and just closing them just because I disagree with them. And like you said, it's freedom. That is the society that we live in, and that's the way it is. And it's wrong to do that. It's wrong to just shut you down because I don't believe in what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be the bigger man, the bigger woman, whatever, and just say, you know what, I don't believe in that, but I'm going to be bigger and I'm going to choose to just do my own thing.
It's a bit of a tangent, but like a consequence of freedom of speech, you have to accept that a bigot has a right to be a bigot. He doesn't have the right to use that to justify harming you. That's where the line gets drawn. So if you have someone who has, there's no contest whatsoever, this guy is a racist, he's a bigot, homophobe, whatever you want to label him, he actually is that thing, he has the right to be that, and that's the consequence of living in a free society. And as long as, we can, tolerance has to work both ways.
Exactly. Seriously.
Because some people are going to be racist, and that's just the way it is, and you have to tolerate that. As long as that doesn't lead to violent behavior, I think we should just tolerate that and just separate ourselves from that. You have to accept the fact, always, there's going to be people who don't like you for a stupid reason, because there's stupid, crazy people out there, and that's just the way humans work.
Log on to the internet and view the comments section of any website, and then get back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way to close that one down, because that just hits nail on the head.
Yeah. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Bad.
Yeah, they're coming anyway. Or anything else?
Well, no, I think that about covers it for me, so.
Alrighty, well, thank you for watching our video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that obligatory YouTube BS. And I guess we'll see you next time on Nobodies.
Thanks for joining.
Take care.